to another episode of Filmmaking and More. I'm your host, Juicy, and this show focuses on filmmaking, screenwriting, and music involved in the movie making process. So sit back and enjoy the ride. In this episode, we're going to look at production, we're going to look at each step, and what it means to be prepared for that big day. But before we do that, make sure you smash that like or thumbs up button. Go ahead and comment, follow, and do all that neat stuff. Let us know what you thought of this episode and what you think might make great content for future episodes. Now, on with the show. So here's the steps listed in the movie production, and we'll start off with the location and the set, the crew, the cast, the schedule, the script rewrites, and reshoots. So whether you're on location or filming completely in sets, you want to make sure that everything is prepared and ready to go. That goes for permits and permissions for on location and anything having to do with the actual props or the actual confinement of the set. You want to make sure it's painted and lit well and the sound is great. The next thing you want to do is make sure that your crew is still all available and ready to go. Once again, from the lighting to the actual people that are going to be running particular things like lighting, sound, whatnot. The next thing you're going to look at is the cast. You want to make sure that they're still available and that everybody is ready to go and there's no last minute contract issues or arguments. And at this point, everybody should have been prepared by rehearsing their lines, whether it be with themselves or as a dress rehearsal. Want to make sure everybody is ready to go and there isn't anything that's going to be causing any problems during production. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be 100% ready to go. It just means that it's pre-planned and we're ready to go. The next thing we want to do is look at the schedule, go ahead and make sure that everything is still ready to go within the time limit that was given by the studio or whoever is footing the bill for this, and make sure that everything ends up in the right time of year so that if it was, for example, a Christmas movie, that you want to make sure that it's going to be available by Christmas and not afterwards. It's okay if it's a little early, but still you don't want to get too early. Like probably October, Halloween is going to be the earliest time that I would think that something like that would need to be put into the distribution cycle. The next thing you want to do is look at your script rewrites. If there's any rewrites that need to happen while on set, you want to make sure that there is a writer there that's available and that he understands the story and understands the notes of what's going to be required of him or what's going to be required of them in the rewrite. Sometimes if it's a writer-director, everybody's waiting on the writer, portion of that to make sure that all the rewrites are available for that day's shooting. Sometimes it's that hairy that it's actually written the night before, maybe even an hours before the shoot. And then the last thing is to capture any gaffes, issues, or whatever with the original shot, and then you want to go ahead and set it up to make sure that we're going to capture that particular scene the right way this time around. Sometimes the reshoots can happen months later and things are going to happen to the actors. They're going to be maybe working on another project where they have to change their shape. They have to gain weight or they have to change their hair color or a number of things. So you want to make sure that you're understanding of what's going to need to happen in those reshoots, who's going to be there, and what's required. Hey, if you like this episode of Filmmaking and More, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you know the next time I drop a video. We'd love to have you join our Filmmaking and More family. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The links are in the description box below. Your support provides Juicyfroot Production the resources and access it needs to bring you spicy content like this. From us here at Juicyfroot Productions and Robb Entertainment Corporation, this is another great episode of Filmmaking and More with your host Juicy, and thank you for watching.
Gotta take you by the head on, oh yeah, and lead you to that brother's love.